Welcome to MCC Made, the official podcast of Metropolitan Community College.
Giving you a backstage pass to all things MCC with your hosts, Emma Frazier and Catherine Riggs.
Catherine,
Emma.
you're familiar with a show called The Traitors, I assume?
I am familiar.
How far do you think first of all...
Oh, boy.
Okay,
boy.
For those who don't know, Traitors is a TV show. It's a game where there are people...
A reality competition.
Yes. Show. Sure.
Yeah.
Where there are people who are secretly selected as traitors, and then people have to figure out who amongst them is a traitor and who is not, and they get voted out and killed and quote unquote killed. They're not really dead, but
it's like that game.
We used to call it Mafia
or Werewolf. Is
yes.
what I've also played it.
So, and I loved playing that game.
I did too. I'm very good at it. A big shout out to. There was a time we went on a trip and my friends and I all went on a trip and there was like a night we played that so many times and my friend Aaron and I kept being werewolves together. Like it's random. You picked cards and it would always be the two of us and we were unstoppable and people just kept never catching on that it was the two of us again. So a big shout out to Aaron for being a fellow werewolf.
It gives very much youth groupie, which
you
know what? On that grounds, I'm out, but the game itself, I'm so in.
It's so fun.
So my question to you is, familiar with the game and then the TV show?
Yes.
Would you rather, if you were on the TV show, would you rather be a traitor or a faithful?
A traitor.
Yeah.
Because don't you get all the money at the end if you get to the end?
If you get to the end, then you get all the money.
Then I want to be a traitor.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a faithful and you get to the end and there are no traitors, then you get the money.
Right. But that's, I guess, me saying I think I could get to the end.
Right. I mean, I would also...
I've proven myself many a time among my friends, so...
Yeah. I feel like... Yeah, I would want to be a traitor for sure.
Yeah.
How long do you think you would make it?
Oh God. Well, it depends on who else is there, who the other traitors are. Mm-hmm. There's too many factors, but I honestly think I could do pretty well.
I really want to throw a traitors party and do again, pretty much like a mafia or werewolf, but it's
But it's traitors.
But it's traitors.
So Alan Cumming is going to come
Correct.
out.
I'll put Brandon in a kilt.
Oh my gosh. For the listeners, if you don't know who Alan Cumming is, chances are you do if you Google him because he has been in things and has been around. But he is always dressed
impeccably,
doing the most work.
Yeah.
And he's just loving. I mean, it's a great gig. First of all, I would never give that up if I were him. So,
no.
But yeah, if there's a way we could get him on the horn for that, I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll make my calls to Alan's people.
Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah, but I think that would be, again, it's I've played a version of that game so many times. I think it's so fun. But then it's instead of, I mean, you could just do it at a table, but in a party sense, where then
you get to roam the rooms like they do. So they basically just sit in a castle in Scotland. On the show for those who haven't watched,
and then they do
and they just wander around eating. They're always
they're always eating,
and
then they do have to play these games
that really
don't mean anything.
It's just to fill the episode. They're fun, but they have I don't even know what happens if you don't win them.
You lose money.
Oh, that's right.
The whole point is that if you're trying to earn money for your end prize pot, and then some of them could be tells of who's a traitor, if they don't really care if they get a shield, which would save them from being murdered. But then you have people like the Real Housewives on there who have no concept of how to win a game show. So they're just oh, that's fine. I'll just I don't need the shield. People like me, and people are like, that's sus behavior.
Yeah. Can't be doing that.
No. Yeah, so on the TV show, it's very funny. The American version, it's a reality TV show people. But you have people from Survivor, and then you also have the Real Housewives. And so you have people who are strategically playing a game. And
who know that you need an alliance.
And then you have people on the Housewives who are just here to wear their cute outfits.
Yeah.
In Scotland and hang out with Alan Cummings. And it is...
I'd like to think I could be both. sides of that.
Correct. I agree. I'm with you. And so it is like very funny to watch like the strategic people like have a plan and then have it totally derailed by somebody who's just voting for somebody because
they don't like they annoyed them. Yeah.
Not because they actually think they're a traitor, but just because they're like,
I just don't want to look at them anymore. Yeah. If only real life were like this.
Yeah. Anyway,
that show reminds me of when we had our son a year ago. We came home and I was exhausted and my body was very exhausted and my husband was also very exhausted and our newborn was baseline just sleeping.
Yeah.
And
also exhausted.
And we plowed through seasons 1 and 2 of Traitors. And my husband is not a reality show person, like at all. Like really, I watched The Bachelor. He does not even really like to be in the room when The Bachelor is on. I watch Survivor, and he'll like kind of humor Survivor because there's like some skill and stakes to it. But for some reason, that one hooked him right in. And I think it was like half because we were both like, I'm too tired to leave the couch. So if this is what's on, this is what I'm watching. But it just reminds me of such a different time in my life where I was just so tired and so happy. And so I have such fun. I love that show so much. I think because of where I was when I watched it the first time.
And I had been a Traitors evangelist.
Yes. You had been telling me, and I was like, I'm saving it for maternity leave.
And I was so happy that you guys finally watched it.
Yes.
The season is also good. It is very, very funny. Because it is just
lots of good characters.
But if you need a lighthearted show of people you have some people who are taking it very seriously and some people who don't even know that they're on a reality TV show.
Who clearly haven't watched it really and don't know how it works.
No. It is very funny. And then you have people like crying like somebody actually did die instead of just like being taken to a different hotel.
Right. This is for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is for you. Odds are, if you like all that, you're already watching this.
Yeah. But if you need that extra push.
But let's say you're watching a really heavy drama and you need to lighten it up afterwards. This is what you throw on.
Yeah. I also, again, I'm such a Traitors evangelist that I also watch, because it is not originally a U.S. show.
Right.
But I watch every version that is available on streaming. So the UK version I'm in, and those are the US is the only one who has
celebrities and
celebrities, big
celebrities.
air quotes, reality TV people, but the rest of the ones are just normal people, and it is so good. So I'm figuring out how to host my own Traitors party.
I'll be there.
Great.
Yeah.
If you have not watched Traitors, you need to watch Traitors.
You need to watch Traitors.
If nothing else, for Alan Cummings.
Yeah.
So.
Give him the love he deserves.
Truly.
And if you love Alan Cummings, watch every other movie that he's wonderful in.
Oh, yeah.
Burlesque is top of mind. And by that, I mean that movie's terrible, but.
Yeah. Or watch Chim Crazy.
Oh, my God. Or watch Chim Crazy.
We don't have time to get into Chim.
No, that's a whole other.
We don't have time to get into that.
No, that's a whole other thing.
Okay. Well.
All right. Let's.
Well. Let's get on to more serious topics other than Traitors, which I could talk about for hours.
Because we have two wonderful ladies here who probably don't stoop to the level we are to watch this.
God, no, they're better than us. Today on the podcast we have Diane Good-Collins and Sharri Wirth from the 180 Reentry Assistance Program here on Metropolitan Community College's Fort Omaha campus. I guess let's just start with what is 180 RAP?
I know, a big question to open the...
Yeah, that's it. That's a lot. So the 180 Reentry Assistance Program was formalized in February 2015.
Yes. So just your 10-year anniversary.
It is our 10-year anniversary this year,
Woo.
and
Woo, woo.
that's super exciting. We've already served over 11,000 people. I checked today; it was 11,002.
Whoa!
That's
so that
incredible.
should tell you. I mean, that's a lot of support to the Nebraska residents, and it's pretty impactful. So what we do is we provide corrections education, so higher education inside of many of the Nebraska prisons, and then we also help people as they transition out into the community. And what that looks like is, as a college, of course, we're focusing on education and training.
Right.
But in order for people to focus on education and training, we had to address the other barriers that they may be facing as they're coming out of incarceration. And so that looks like we are helping people find jobs.
Okay.
We are helping people learn how to use technology. We are helping people with basic needs such as food, hygiene, laundry detergent. Once they secure employment, we're helping them to access work attire, so nun-skid shoes, uniforms, things like that. If they are to be successful when they're released, we realized quickly as a college that we could try to tie into other people in the community, but there weren't other people in the community providing those services and support. So we just started growing it very organically, and it's just grown and grown until now we are the largest on-campus reentry center in the United States. So pretty significant.
And so
It is.
So you help people who are currently incarcerated and people who have been released from incarceration, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and we also help individuals, probably anybody with a criminal history, those coming out of federal prisons, state prisons, county jails, treatment centers, and three-quarter-way houses, sober living houses.
Wow. Are there any requirements that you have of these people to be part of this program, or if somebody wanted to be a part of it, how does that work?
Well, the requirement would be to have a criminal history.
Yeah. So we serve people coming out of jail, prison, and treatment centers. So the treatment centers population may or may not have been previously incarcerated in a state, county, or federal facility. However, it is our preventative measure. If we can catch people when they're in a precarious position like that, that's our one preventative measure. Other than that, we are working with youth in the correctional facilities in Douglas County and for the state, and then the incarcerated in the state prisons. And then there is also a federal facility here in North Omaha that a lot of people don't even know about. It's called Dismiss, and it is a federal halfway house.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah.
that we had that. Interesting. So how did this all come about? It's been on MCC, or it's been part of the MCC campus and culture for 10 years. Where did that start? How did we get started? What does
How
that look
did
like?
you come to be here doing this?
Yeah, so Metro has actually been offering prison education programming for many decades, until 2007. And that was when NDCS decided that they were going to take on adult ed and no longer provide college credit classes inside the lock facilities in Nebraska. And so from about 2007 to 2014, there was a gap, but corrections education was under Sue Raftery here at the college. And I was her associate at that time. And as a person that was previously incarcerated myself, I understood the importance of accessing education while incarcerated, because it changed my mindset about who I was and what my future could entail. So I told her, I said, what about all those people that were previously in college credit classes and are going to be coming back to the community without any support? What are we going to do about that? Because we're not inside the prison, so they don't know about us anymore. And she said, well, maybe we should just kind of send a message out to them and let them know if they are transitioning out, that they're welcome to contact our dean office, and we'll do the best we can to get them connected to next steps. And so that's how it kind of started informally. And then by the time MCC formalized the 180 Reentry Assistance Program, I was the MCC Express coordinator in South Omaha.
Okay.
And I had just kind of carried that support to the incarcerated population through my job positions. And by the time we formalized, I had 125 people on my list of people that we were serving. So there was an obvious need, but when the college decided to formalize it through a vocational life skills grant that we received through corrections, that was when Sharri, another full-time team member, and we were the first 3 full-time people on the team in 2015.
Wow.
And
Small.
we were literally in 3 different desks in different spots of the MCC South Express, and we had no idea how it was going to blow up. But within the first 17 months, it was a 17-month grant. Within the first 17 months of that grant, we had served over 1,000 people.
Wow.
And I think the college said, "Hey, wait a minute, what's going on with these guys?"
Now, what are they doing over there?
Yeah, we're going to move them to the main campus so that the population they're serving has more direct access to all the services and support through
Makes
financial
sense.
aid, through the bookstore, through academic affairs, and the registrar's office. And so that's how we started. And Sharri's been here since day one, so it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. It is incredible. I think, like the growth of the program. I look back when we started 10 years ago, and it's like, wow. Then I walk into our building now some days and think, I don't know, it's just huge.
Right.
It's huge.
So this is a question that when people ask me this about my job or whatever, you're just like, I don't even know how to answer that, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yeah.
What is a typical day like for one of our reentry participants, students?
So when they come into the building, they do an orientation. We get all their demographics so they can get a number and colleague in our database. And then we do the Holland Career Assessment, which gives us an idea where we can assist them if they're looking for education or training. Then they meet with a full-term peer mentor, and the peer mentor helps them address those basic needs. Do they make sure they have identification, if they need food, if they need pantry, if they have somewhere to live. It helps them work towards all those and make sure we have what we have. If not, we can assist them in gaining what they need. And then he will also work with them on getting appointments for education to meet with one of our reentry advisors or for our Career Readiness Center to look for employment. And then they're also allowed to be active in the program. We do a bunch of different workshops. We do support groups. We have forklift training, OSHA training that is free of cost to all of them.
Yes, I've seen that in the parking lot when it's all set up and they get to test that out.
We just did 31 people last Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Forklift.
it's pretty incredible because it's, my big thing when we first started forklift for reentry was I don't care if you ever drive a forklift. You need to demonstrate to a future employer that you can start and finish something, and
Yeah.
2, that you're interested in investing in yourself, and it looks good on your resume.
Yeah.
Put it in your portfolio.
Oh my gosh, I in a previous life have been forklift certified. I should add
See?
that to my resume.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, when you work at a farm store, you gotta operate that forklift sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, it shows your diversity, right?
Yeah, move those pallets around. Can you imagine me behind a forklift?
I learn something new about her every day.
So I've been into the reentry building a couple of times, and one thing that really strikes me about it is that everyone there is very engaged and very helpful.
Yes.
And it's not, I think sometimes you go, there are buildings even on our campuses. Well, of course people are friendly, but everyone is just has their head down and is doing their own thing.
Right.
And maybe you talk to people, maybe you don't. But when I walk into the reentry, you're always greeted by somebody right away. They always talk to you. The people that are there for classes or programs, they also are so personable and helpful. And I think it's just a very cool culture that you've built
Yes.
within that building.
Thank you. That's You know,
Appreciate
it is. It's one. Thank you for saying that, because it's something that I think that we have been very intentional about, is making sure that it's a safe landing spot for people as they're coming out of jail, prison, and treatment centers. I mean, if you can imagine this stigma and this shame and the uncertainty, and, you know, you're wanting me to do something different, and I'd rather go do that because that's what I know. But I really, you know, I want to try to walk a different pathway, and then coming in and meeting with somebody who has that lived experience with incarceration or treatment, and, you know, feeling right away like they get it. Like, I can't come up with the excuse that you don't understand how I feel.
Right.
Because you've already been there, done that. And you're here telling me, look, if I can do this, you can do this too. And hey, I just did 27 years in prison and I work here full time and I've been here 2 or 3 years. Those are not uncommon stories. We have people that we work with that have been incarcerated for multiple decades. Wow. that may come in and have no technology skills, been incarcerated for an extended period of time, do not understand how to use a cell phone and how to use, much less a computer. And we are in a digital age.
Very.
And so, like, the first thing that we go to work doing is helping them leverage their personal skill set so that they can feel more comfortable, so they can acclimate just a little better, but all with peer support, because it's that peer support that I think makes the difference. I have said it for years, it's all about relationship. And if people can come in and feel like they're a part of something, not coming in and getting something, the philosophy is it's a hand up, not a handout.
Right.
And the thing that we tell our people while we're working with them in prison is that it is your duty, even if you never step foot out of prison, if you have a life sentence and you may never get out, you're always at a place to help somebody, whether it's with an encouraging word or like telling somebody not to give up if they're in classes, or if they're just, you know, sad and need somebody to talk to, right? We have some lifers that I consider our most vital peer mentors in all of the prisons, and they're doing that work every single day, and I feel like it's an honor for us as 180 RAP in the college to walk alongside of them and to strengthen them in their journey to ensure that they are continuing that work, because it's important. But you did say something about our team. About 80% of our team have lived experience.
Wow.
And that goes from my position to the program manager to the coaches and our peer support mentors and our specialists. So very many different positions.
Some of our instructors.
Yes, our faculty. So yeah, it's pretty impactful.
I think a lot of times when I'm thinking about reentry, I'm thinking about people who have maybe done just a few years in prison. And yeah, I mean, obviously people are in prison for any length of time. I cannot imagine, going to prison in 1995 and now being released into the world today. I mean, what a system over. I mean, I assume it's already overwhelming enough to be released from prison. And then not only are you then released from like a very controlled environment,
the digital age has,
and then the whole world is different.
Yeah.
Wow. And so yes, for that to be a safe landing space for people, I think is invaluable.
And that reminds me. Okay, so a couple years ago, I went when you guys had like a group session. And I still think about that. I loved that so much. It was like the best environment where everybody just sits around and has to say how their week was. And I'm like, even if you didn't just get out of prison, that is a nice thing to sit and ask your friends, how was your week? And everybody had to share. I had to share. I enjoyed it. But I remember at that session, you, Diane, telling me you had to teach someone, like we're talking about, they had to learn technology. You had to teach someone how to fry an egg. Because they had to feed themselves. And you're like, well, I had to teach him how to fry an egg so he can literally eat this week because he has been in prison for so long. He does not know how to cook anything. And that's something I've never thought about. And I think about that a lot. And I remember you guys were teaching someone how to ride a bike because he really wanted to learn how to ride a bike. And you're like, that's something I've never thought about. They don't have bikes. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been in there for so long, he has to learn that. And it's teaching people those skills too that you don't think about. It's like, oh yeah, they need to learn how to use a computer. It's like, oh yeah, they need to learn how to do laundry. They haven't done laundry.
Yeah, washing machines are completely different nowadays.
That too. It's like
true,
that's the other level of stuff you don't think about is those just life skills.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing there's a lot of people that come, like everybody who comes in your door has a completely different story, a different list of needs. So how do you how did that program get to where you guys are so able to help with such a wide array, I guess, of not problems, but needs?
Yeah. So I think we just started eating the elephant one bite at a time. So, and actually, no, really what happened was as needs came up, that's when we were trying to figure out like how to address them. Like, for example, I got a letter from an incarcerated man at Omaha Correctional Center that told me so-and-so got out of prison and he looked for a towel for 4 days. Well, that, like, some people would be like, oh, that's so sad. I didn't go to, oh, I'm so sad. I went to, I am upset and angry.
Yeah.
Because to me, that felt like it was linked to human dignity.
Yeah.
So I called our foundation and I said, okay, I need you to hear what I just read. And I read it to her and she's, Amy Recker said, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do?
Yeah.
And so we set to work trying to find assistance from a funder to help pay for transition backpacks. And that was in October 2020. And so since then, we've given out hundreds of transition backpacks. So anybody that's been recently released can come get a transition backpack, and it's filled with hygiene, towels. We issue bus passes, ready-to-eat food, just anything that they could immediately need without having to fill out a form, without having us to show us a bunch of papers, without all they do is self-report. I was just released. Oh, and then we just get to work. Mm-hmm. So how all those things came to pass is as we saw the need. If there was not an availability for that service in the community, then we just started, we'd say, hey, what do you think? And the college has always been, we have to do that. It's like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the college president told me one day, I was all excited when we first found out that we were the largest on-campus reentry center, and this is years ago, when we were just still in Building 9 before we were in the big, huge building we're in now. And he said, Diane, we don't do it to be the pioneers or to be the biggest or the best. We do it because it's the right thing to do. And, I almost cried. I was like,
God.
oh my
gosh. I don't know how you didn't. I would have just started
I was like, I just kind of swallowed hard and realized, you know what? MCC is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We do some really amazing things, but I consider the incarcerated population, a lot of times they're the forgotten population.
Yeah.
But I also call them the hidden workforce.
Ooh.
And so I think, the barriers that we faced early on when we first started, I worked with the Chamber and Winsley Duran to try to leverage some kind of pathway to employers that would openly say, we will hire the reentry population if they are, check whatever boxes the employer wanted. And we started with like 3 to 5 the first year, and I was like, this is, ridiculous, because I felt sometimes we were meeting with employers that said, well, we're not going to hire people with a background because of ... But, and I'm sitting in the seat saying, I already know 3 guys that work there, but I'm not going to say, I'm not going to talk about that because I don't want to ruin things for other people. But I think what we just consistently did was continue to provide education and training to the incarcerated population, reminding them to invest in themselves so they could get to a level playing field with other people in the community who did not have a criminal history. And, one thing I'll say about our population is we're super loyal. And back to the workforce thing, I think the thing that kicked open the door for us with employers was COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody else stayed home and we did not.
Right.
And so the employers started calling us saying, hey, like we need people. Employers that were probably a little tenuous were reaching out and saying, hey, we need 10 people. Can you refer some people?
Yeah.
Yep, we can. Yep, we can. And our people, they're still getting out of prison. We were still providing service and support, loading up hygiene kits and laptops and food in the MCC vans and driving them out in the community. I mean, that's what we were doing. And the college supported that because they knew we had to get resources to people and then helping people continuing to find jobs. We were doing it on the phone, via Zoom. We went down to the Work Release Center 5 days a week. We were just doing what we could do to help people connect to jobs because that is what's going to keep us sustainable and in the community and focused on doing the next right thing so we don't go back to jail or prison. And now we have over 390 employers.
Wow.
10 years later compared to 3 to 5 the first year when I was like so frustrated. So it's been incredible. And it's, what do they say, a long, strange trip, but it's been amazing to see the success of the population and the gratitude that the population has, not just for 180 Rap, but for the college.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's so heartwarming.
It is. And the instructors, like when you hear students say, God, this instructor made me look at it this way, and it changed my life, or you get to know, okay, this instructor works really good,
Yes.
right? So you kind of know. But
Yeah. I just also just have a lot of feelings about, I can't imagine being in some of those meetings yourselves as people who have been incarcerated and hearing what people are like, ooh, I'm a little nervous about it. And you're like,
you're looking at me.
Yeah,
Like who's made it this far and doing great. So let's lift off of what you just see on paper and look at the person and see what they can do.
Yeah.
To just read something, just to read what somebody may have done on paper, but then it's but they're also a human being. You should see what they're able to do and not just take it based off of what you're reading.
Yeah, and that's why those meetings are so impactful. We have the Saturday morning meeting, which is called Doing Life, Not Time. And that's for anybody that's ever been incarcerated. And there's usually about 30 plus that go to that meeting now.
Yeah, it was big.
On a regular basis on 8:30 on a
fun.
Saturday. Think about that.
It was fun.
But it's people at all various stages of transition, which goes back to our philosophy that, it's our duty to help the next person in line. So whatever that looks like. And part of it is having a seat at the table, sharing in their journey and reminding them about what your transition to the community looked like or is looking like, because we have people that are released the day before and show up and are like, I'm here, I'm terrified, I didn't sleep. And then, somebody will jump in and say, hey, I didn't sleep for the first week. It's so, I kept waiting for somebody to shine a light in my eyes or count me or, tell me where to go. And I have all this freedom and what do I do with that? And it's not just prison focused, it's focused on employment opportunities, or I would say maybe barriers in the workplace, how to communicate with their supervisors, how to ask for time off. We had a guy that skipped a family funeral because he was afraid to ask for time off. Or it's how do I talk to my family about this? It's all very relational again, but it's back to the life skills. But then we also have long-term relief, and maybe Sharri can tell you about that.
that is on Wednesday evenings, and that's for anybody who's been incarcerated 10 or more years or did multiple prison sentences. Okay. So that one happens on Wednesdays, and we always provide. Oh, we have changed it to Tuesdays. We always provide a full meal. Mm-hmm. And then at the beginning of the quarter, we speak with the group, and they talk about who they would want to come in and speak. So we have, like, banks come in. We do financial empowerment with them, cell phone providers. Attorneys, car salesmen, something to help them, the needs that they need through the beginning of the progression and as they're out. And then we have individuals come in with lived experience and tell their story also. And it's a smaller group, but it's powerful. I mean, and we started that 2015 on a request from somebody who had spoke with Diane, who'd been down longer than 10 years and said, we need help.
Oh.
And then we started the group, and it's been going on. But I do think it's the relationships. And I think what you see is those people that continue to come, and they continue to come back to the reentry center. And that's what helps change the people, because then they affect that next person who walks through the door.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most powerful thing we see, right, is, the full circle. It just keeps going, right? It keeps spreading, and you've made friendships.
Yeah, I think that that is relatable both for people coming out of prison or facilities, and just people in general. I was just having a conversation with somebody who recently got a job promotion, and they were really struggling, and they were just having a really bad time, and we worked together, and I was like, do you remember the first 4 months we worked together, I cried once a week. And he's like, oh, I totally forgot that you were not having a good time. the first 4 months of that job, I was like, yeah, no, I was having a very bad time. I was like, and it gets easier the more you do it and the more resources you have. But that is sometimes being able to, when you see people that have already accomplished the things that you're accomplishing, it seems like it was easy to do when you're at the beginning and they're at the quote unquote end, or whatever. But it's like, oh no, I mean, it's hard. It can be hard for everybody.
Okay.
Everyone starts somewhere.
And that's funny you say that, because when I went to that group, I'm trying to think of what year that was, probably 2019 maybe. And I had just gotten a promotion here. And I remember telling that group I was feeling some imposter syndrome. And a guy came up to me at the end and he's like, that is the best word for that. He's like, because I felt that. And it's just like, everybody, I think it is good to, like you said, it's like not even just for somebody who's been recently out of incarceration or anything, but to talk about their feelings. Yeah. There's nothing
being
wrong
real.
with that. Yeah, exactly.
Julie, that was a quick fix.
Yeah, only 1 week to get my mobile device repair certificate.
Hey, Ray, how's the market?
Buyer or seller, I've got it covered thanks to the MCC Real Estate Workshop.
Amanda, look at you. You're already
a certified pharmacy technician? That's right. I got my certificate in less than a year.
Hey, that was almost as fast as
precision measure?ment? I'll be certified in just a week.
Earn a career certificate in less than a year. Classes start June 5th. Get started at mccneb.edu/me.
I'm sure you guys obviously every day see wins. Everybody has different wins. Yeah. So it's just, that's got to be such a rewarding part of this job, especially if it's something that they've been working toward for so long. And I'm sure it can be something as small as I successfully fried an egg and ate it and didn't make myself sick. Or I graduated. So that's got to feel good.
Or I have 6 months of sobriety, or I had a child visit, or I was able to go to the library and read to my granddaughter. I mean, those are things that we do celebrate with people on a daily basis. And of course, it makes us super proud to see people complete our college credit courses inside the prison, because there's a statistic that if you complete one college credit class, you're 43% less likely to return to prison. So I recruit on that one.
Yeah.
I recruit on that one. And then seeing them complete career certificates, because inside the prison we are offering construction, IT, manufacturing, electrical technology. What did I miss? Construction? Welding. Welding, business. And we have some full-time students at NCYF. Right. So at the State Youth Facility, we have students at Omaha Correctional Center from the State Work Release Center that come on campus. Winter quarter just wrapped up. We had 200 reentry students on campus and about just as many inside the prisons. So that's a significant number.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't even touch all the people that come through the reentry center. I just got done telling Sharri this morning, in January and February, our foot traffic in the reentry center, which is in Fort Omaha Campus Building 8, over 2,000 people in and out. And, when they're coming in, they're working on homework, they're job seeking, they're just touching base. They may be coming in to pick up a book or to eat or charge their phone, but they're staying connected in a positive way. So you're right. Everybody has individualized goals. Sharri just went to a completion ceremony for one of our people that we worked with for years, and he was incarcerated for years.
Yeah, he completed the for the electrical apprenticeship. So I just went to his completion ceremony last week, and it was amazing to see. He's working in the electrical field, and to see his wife, and he was with his kids, and they have a home. It was, that one chokes me up because we worked with him for a long time.
And then we have people who have gone on to are now working on their master degrees.
Yep.
Wow. And are running programs elsewhere. Or, I think about Dwayne, who still works for us part-time because he won't leave. but he's doing, very similar work like we are providing in service and support, but now he partners with us through Heart Ministry, and he's doing very similar work there, but he still works for us part-time. And I said, why? I know it's not the money. He said, no, this is home, this is family. And he had been incarcerated decades and incarcerated as a juvenile. So, that was pretty, we do see it on so many different levels. I think about William, who was our first guy at the State Work Release Center to ever get a CDL back in 2015.
And he rode his bike there.
Rode his bike out to ATC in sub-zero temperatures and did the work and got out, started his own trucking company. So he has a trucking company here in Omaha, and he also teaches CDL prep inside of the Omaha Correctional Center. Wow. So he left and came back, and he's paying it forward. So, we see it on a lot of levels, right?
Oh, yes.
People who thought they would never be able to stay clean and sober and have been in the community for years. So it's pretty, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like, my mind is, I always say I have the front seat to miracles. Yeah. Every day.
Yeah. I think one of the local news stations did a story, was that 2 years ago or a year and a half, about somebody who went through the program, and she started her own business. I believe it was almost like a call center.
Yolanda,
yes. Thank you. I was like, you're gonna say her name. I was like,
worked with her for a long time.
Yeah, and I was so enthralled because I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, not only did she make something work incredible for herself, but then it was very clear that she wanted to make sure that she was giving this opportunity to other people who had previously been incarcerated so that they could get a leg up, and they could work from home. They didn't have to find transportation to do this. She would train them on what to do. And I was just like, what an incredible community that you've built, and that people feel at home in, and that they want to make sure that other people, again, they're not just like pulling the rope up behind them and being like, goodbye.
Yeah.
They're like making sure that everybody else that they come in contact with can also pull themselves up with the same rope. And I think that's great.
It is great. Randy said years ago, we didn't do it to be pioneers or whatever, but really we do have to give credit to the college and the Board of Governors. And, because a lot of other colleges, it's taken them a lot of years to get to the point to where they're willing to say, yes, we will sponsor a reentry program on campus. So the college we have been sharing our best practices for years because other people are curious, and how did you get the buy-in, and but when you have a leader that says it's the right thing to do, and the Board of Governors is right on board with that, and
it's that simple.
But here's the other thing. Then you could have other people in other parts of the college that were resistant, but it's never been like that.
No.
Everybody, from facilities to the MCC police, they are so supportive. And, you think police reentry, right? They're so supportive. It's amazing. Yeah. It's the culture at the college, I think, has allowed this to happen.
Yeah, because we work with so many different areas of the college.
Yeah, whenever I meet with Randy, at some point or another, he's like, we are college for everybody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he means it. It's not just kind of everybody. It's
everybody.
It is everybody. And again, just going back to the feeling that you get when you enter your building is, I think that everybody has their own internal biases, whether they think that they do or they don't. And, I'm from a small town in Nebraska. I did not have a lot of experience, and I knew that was a safe building to go into. Yeah. But also, all of a sudden, you're like, I have no idea who I'm going to encounter, what their life story is, and then all of a sudden, you're like, well, I don't know that if I'm walking into a Walmart either.
Right.
I don't know. Or Target or wherever it is. It's like I don't know it does not matter who I'm encountering. And again, you walk in and somebody greets you right away, and people are talking to you, and it's like, oh, I don't know why I worked myself up to be nervous to meet people who are clearly just trying to make their lives better, which we are all trying to do.
I would hope. Yes.
I would hope.
Yeah.
And so I think, it on one hand is surprising to me that other colleges, community colleges would not embrace this. But on the other hand, I also understand where people just they lean into those biases and they're
their blinders on.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah. It's like, that's somebody else's problem. And,
Yeah. Or they think a lot of, I come across this a lot when I'm talking with other people, is that they think that people that are incarcerated maybe don't have a GED or high school diploma or aren't very intelligent or have the capacity. And I'm like, you have no idea.
They're so intelligent.
It's so committed, right?
Yes.
That is the one thing that I love to see is when we work with them inside the prison and they're starting college credit classes and the life skill classes, and then they come to campus and they continue on. Now, Metro serves a non-traditional student body.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I call ours a super non-traditional because a lot of times, when people are getting out, they have to focus on job, child support, parole fees, doing all those things that they're required to remain in the community, and that has to be the primary focus. But a lot of times, people will come back. Sometimes it's 9 months, a year, 2 years. Hey, I need to finish these classes.
Yeah, I'm ready now.
And it's amazing to see that happen because that we planted a seed. Metro planted a seed.
And I think, too, we have people come back who we've worked with and who are in the workforce and doing well, and they'll say, hey, if I take this class or these 2 classes, then I'm able to move up with my employment.
Yeah.
Right.
So we can continue, even if it's a certificate or 2 or 3 classes, they feel, comfortable to contact us, and then they continue to move up, right? Mm-hmm. So it's changing their lives in the community.
Yeah. Another cool partnership that you have is with Oodalolly, this restaurant. Would you like to kind of explain that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So the college met with a funder. Mm-hmm. Gosh, it's been 2.5 years ago, I guess. And we went out to look at a reentry kitchen restaurant in Cleveland.
Okay.
And kind of to see what that was about, and involved, of course, Brian O'Malley with the ICA. And we went out and toured that, and it was a fine French cuisine restaurant, and they had housing, and it was good. We sampled the food. Mm-hmm. Oh, I had to sample the food.
Yeah. Oh gosh, darn.
Yeah. My arm. I guess.
And talked to a couple of the people that were in their program, and basically what they were doing was training people coming out of prison, and then providing them a job in the restaurant. And so we tweaked that model a little bit to create Oodalolly in partnership with a funder, and it is a live restaurant in Dundee that is also a nonprofit, and the goal is within 5 years to have every position in the restaurant filled by somebody that is previously incarcerated or quote unquote reentry. Mm-hmm. So we're just into the first year of the restaurant, and it's going really well. So we've had to, juggle things and change things a little on the way.
Right.
It's when you're piloting, that's how that happens. But basically, the ICA here at MCC created guidebooks, and the trainees are coming straight out of prison, and they go through prep, line cooking, and hospitality guidebooks. And so they're working in the front of house, and then in the back of the house in the prep area and the kitchen, and they're using these guidebooks, and they're earning micro credentials. So basically, they're doing the lab portion of the college credit classes here at the ICA.
Right.
Then when they're done, they can earn those micro credits for those classes and come to campus and do the lectures part of it to get the full credits. And typically, it takes about 3 months-ish. Kind of depends on the progression of the individual. During the time that they're involved in the program, they're earning $18 an hour.
Wow.
And we're supplementing other pieces of their needs. And it's 4 days at the restaurant and 1 day on campus. And then the 1 day they're on campus, it's habilitative programming. So they're maybe participating in recovery groups, peer support, working on their guidebooks, meeting with our financial empowerment instructor, doing all kinds of different activities to ensure that they build, again, their personal skill set. And at the end of 3 months, they pretty much have the option to come to Metro full-time,
Right.
work somewhere in a restaurant and go to Metro part-time, maybe get a full-time job at Oodalali if there's an opening, or they can say, I hated this, and I want to go
Thanks,
be a
but no
welder.
thanks.
Yeah, and so it's no harm, no foul. But they've if they're curious and they have the aptitude and the interest, and then we screen very heavily inside the prisons. I do it personally, and so then they come and they're a part of it. We only do 3 trainees at a time, just because you can imagine it's very labor intensive.
Oh,
Yeah.
Restaurants that are
Yeah.
a lot of work.
They are.
But to the food is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And
It is, yes.
we have a large team of reentry people on staff there in lead positions already. So I think a year in, we're making good ground.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you eaten there?
I have not yet, but
I haven't either.
You have to go.
Yes,
It's
it's on my list.
phenomenal.
Me too.
Well,
Yeah.
every time I've gone, it's always busy.
Yeah.
Like you need a reservation.
Yes.
Pro
and
tip.
and they do serve lunch Tuesday through Saturday, and they have a Sunday brunch. And
Okay,
dinner is amazing, but definitely go.
When it gets
Yeah.
nice, they have outdoor seating. It's beautiful.
Yeah. No, it's on my list. I told my husband, I was like, we need to go.
Yes.
But typical husband, he doesn't plan any dates, so I would have to do it. Brandon,
We know you're out there.
I guess just also plug for reentry. I know a lot of it is grant funded, right? Yes, but then also, you mentioned that you help provide like a pantry for your participants, clothes for clothes. What if somebody wanted to help or like provide anything for this program? What do you need? What do you want?
What are some options they can
Yeah.
choose from?
There's a lot of options. So we have people donate or contribute on various levels. It could be writing a check to foundation. That's the easy one to the MCC Foundation. They could, we have, and this happens here at the college too, but in the community as well, they maybe do a hygiene drive because we go through tons of, you can imagine, toothpaste, shampoo, deodorant, all of those items. We've had people collect cold weather gear, so coats, hats, gloves. We've had students from Scott Catholic and Brownell volunteer, and they come in and help build backpacks or whatever we have going on. If they need us to help build food bags, they're awesome.
Meals.
Yes, they provide meals for some
the
of our
groups.
groups. Yes, we've had some. It's really interesting to have the high schoolers come in and volunteer, but
Oh, I
that's
bet.
a whole nother thing. Because to me, I think it's like an eye-opening opportunity for them, not just for them, but their families. Because sometimes they bring their parents.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very cool. But we have a group that actually makes quilts for our people.
Oh,
So
nice.
if you have gently used clothing that we take donations, you can pull up in front of the building, call the main line, we'll come out and get it. If you want to donate hygiene, if you want to go to the Dollar Tree, a lot of our people that have used our pantry will go to Walmart or the Dollar Tree once they get financially stable and come back and donate.
Yeah.
And so that's how you know that you've come full circle, right? But gently used clothing, mainly men's, because just by sheer numbers, we serve more men than women. And then, gently used footwear.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
In the winter, in the fall, it's always coats that we're looking for, extra coats. What am I missing, Sharri? We have some mass couponers
Oh,
who will come in with like random things like 9 containers of saline solution. But you know what? People or pain reliever, whatever. People use it.
Oh, yeah.
Here's some first aid kits. Great. People donate. People donate. Like if you change out your cookware set. Guess what? Everybody here is starting new. And those are little things that you think people don't need. My sister actually she works with my other sister in Minnesota, and they always have a overage of towels. She's always bringing, my other sister is toting these big, huge totes of towels from Minnesota back to Omaha about once a month or every other month because she knows that we use them and that our people need them.
Wow.
I mean, coming out of prison or wherever and just having to start fresh again. No towels. Yeah, no.
Well, and when you get your own place, right? You get
so
your own place.
You're like, well, I don't have any
Right,
stuff
that's
to put in it.
silverware or just plates and the.
Think about when you left home and started college or, left college and went to get your own apartment, all the things you need, those are all the things we need. So when I got an email from an MCC person the other day, hey, are you still taking dinnerware and cookware? Yes, of course, it'll go. And people are so appreciative.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're so appreciative. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have anything that you're looking forward to? I mean, I know you do, but is there anything? Yeah, you're on your 10-year anniversary. What are some projects that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, we've talked about everybody else's wins, but you guys have a giant win of being so successful officially for 10 years.
Yeah, so July 17th, we are providing a reentry event. We're hosting it here at the college, and it's going to be a big deal.
Okay.
I don't know all the details yet because I'm working with others to get all of that situated.
Stay tuned.
But it includes food and recognition of people that have stepped alongside and supported it, participants, students, people at the college, people in the community. That I guess that is the one thing I do want to say is we don't work in a silo at Metro. Especially in reentry, we have so many partners, whether it's housing, our mental health providers, the food bank. I think about the churches that we partner with. I mean, there's so many people that are just like
They're rallying around the people.
exactly, yeah. We definitely do not work in a silo. We don't claim to do it all ourselves, but without partners, we're dead in the water.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I love this program.
I know. I feel like I could talk for another hour about all this.
It's not only just a service to our community, but again, sharing what you've learned with other communities to be able to implement these programs is invaluable. Catherine and I say this every time. We're very proud to work here.
Yes.
This
is another part of it.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. I just think that this is an incredible program.
I know. I'm worried I'm going to start crying on this episode.
Yeah, you are everyone that works in reentry, and you both are doing incredible work. It does not go unnoticed, and I can't wait to see what the next 10 years of reentry looks like.
Me too. I hope I make another 10 years. You know, the one, I'm aging, but the one thing I didn't mention and I really need to be clear about is when I took my first college credit class in prison, it was at Metro Community College. And it was at the women's prison in York, Nebraska. And I was very resistant to do it, which is why I'm so tenacious, we'll use that word, when I'm coming for people inside the prison. Because I understand that hesitancy to invest in yourself. I understand that hesitancy to think differently or to do something differently. But I took a chance on myself. And then 2 weeks out of prison, the college took a chance on me and hired me as a part-time person at that point. But they hired me and eventually full-time. Yeah. And, that was like a big deal. That was like a big, huge deal. So Randy can say we're not pioneers, that the college isn't pioneers, but that they have been, and they've been taking a chance on me for a long time, and they've continued to support the reentry program, and I'm just so thankful to work here.
Mine started here. I mean, I think about it after I got out of county, and after the last time, I worked survival employment, and somebody said, you should go to college. And this is where I came. And I was lucky enough to get a work study position with a bunch of women who really taught me what it was like to be grown up, how to work how to work in a business, how to become a lady, because I wasn't that way, right? How to be responsible. And I got my degree. I was part-time. Then they hired me part-time temp. I got my degree and left and got to work in the field to study. And then I was able to come back for reentry. But that college education and the people that surrounded me, probably at some of the weakest moments in my life, were life-changing. Yeah. For me and my family. Yeah, it's crazy when you look back.
Yeah.
Again, everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to be like, oh, that must have been easy to get there. And everyone has their own stuff. And I think that is, the whole thing is incredible. I could talk to you guys forever about this, honestly.
Just celebrating all these wins. So many.
But we'll have to have somebody who's been either in the program or been through the program. We would love to talk to somebody.
We're sure you have a list a mile long of people that we could have. Yes.
So, well, thank you both for coming and talking to us about this.
Thank you.
Yes, this was a treat.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
MCC Made with Emma Frazier and Catherine Ricks. Produced by Emma Frazier. Production support by Herdat.
Got a question for us? Email mccmade@mccneb.edu, and your question may be answered on a future podcast.